I'm going to give you the keys to the language barrier, right? If you think I said it, I probably did. If you can't believe I said it, I certainly did. And if you have no idea, just make it up. There it is. I want to ask you, whose hands are yours in? Let's dive. Okay, I have a slide coming up, maybe. There it is. So we've had a lot of people here talking, really digging this in. By this time, I'm pretty sure clear on the answer here. Does chiropractic care change lives? Yes. We all agree on that? We're all on board with that? They change a little bit, they change a lot. They change lives enough, in a powerful enough way, that it actually changed the world. Yeah? Are you changing the world when you're putting your hands on someone? Or when you plan on putting your hands on someone, will you be changing the world? Is that something that's part of what's going to happen when you put your hands on people? Absolutely. All right. Now watch. We're going to keep that in mind. Chiropractic can change the world. You're going to change the world because you're putting your hands on people, right? Let's mark this spot. Do you know who Larry Page is? Co-founder of Google, right? A little enterprise out in California somewhere. You may be familiar with. He says something that's really, really interesting. He says, I have a simple metric I use. Are you working on something that can change the world? What was your answer? Yes. That's all he wants to know. Yes or no. Now, do you think he's after recruiting people who can really, really, like at the top level of the whole planet, the most phenomenal talents? Is he after those people? Is that who he's recruiting? You bet. You know what? Now, Larry Page, PhD in computer science, when the king of all data, right? When he uses a number, do you think he's making it up, or do you think he's actually probably looked into it? This is his answer to this. Look at that. 99.999999% of people say no. And here I just had a room full of people who said yes. That makes you truly extraordinary. You are important. You are so rare. You are so special. There are so few of us as chiropractors who know what we know, who do what we do. We all first of all need to be together, and we all need to work like crazies to make more of us and to really reach out people. It's really so important. It's vitally important. I would even say that the planet depends on it. The human race anyways, planets will be fine without us. So in 2011, these people got together just to give you a little more context into how much we're needed. Are these people serious? Yeah, you think? Right. Harvard School of Public Health, World Health Organization, World Economic Forum. When they come up with numbers, solid numbers, right? Credible, right? So they looked into what non-communicable diseases are going to cost on a planet-wide basis. Non-communicable diseases, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, asthma, all that stuff, right? They said that by 2030, treating non-communicable diseases is going to cost $47 trillion. Now, this is such a stupid number that if you Google 47 trillion, that study comes up, right? It's just so unimaginably high. Now I want to ask you a question. Do you think that as chiropractors, if there was enough of us, we could have an impact on this outcome? Yes. Without a doubt. Do you think we have to? I tell you what, if we don't, we're going to be paying that tax bill. And I certainly don't want to. pay that tax bill, right? You with me with that? So this is our why. Right? We're pretty strong on that as chiropractors, as life vision chiropractors, Life University graduates and students. We're really strong on the why. We know that there's innate intelligence, that the brain is where it resides, and it connects to the body through the nervous system, and it runs the body which is inherently self-healing, self-regenerating, and that its subluxations create interference, diminishing the human's ability to function. That's our why, right? This is why we can have an impact on that $47 trillion number, right? Now, I want to slide into and we're really strong on that. I want to go into the how a little bit. The how, we talk about chiropractic, we talk about technique, we talk about marketing, bringing more people in. However, there's one aspect that is so, so important and not often discussed, but you need to get involved. You need to do it. It's up to us. There's so few. Remember, we're rare. There's so few of us. It's our responsibility to all step up and do it. The how is that we need to actually have laws that make it possible for us to do what we do and make and preserve our right to do what we do. Do you agree with me? If laws tomorrow said that you can't adjust a child, if laws tomorrow said that you can't take an X-ray unless you suspect a fracture or pathology, if laws said that you can't have your patients prepay and engage in long-term care, if laws said that your record keeping had to be, 20, 30 minutes per visit, if laws said that common business practices, which, by the way, pharmaceutical industries engage in with without any problem, and everybody else on the planet does, somehow we couldn't be doing those things. Do you think that that would affect our ability to express our why? We need to get involved. We need to do it. This is what your state boards do, right? Now, I have to tell you, our state board, the United States, there's 300 people who decide whether you can see children, whether you can take an X-ray, whether you can, how you can run your business. 300 people. I would like you to consider very seriously about being one of those. Because being one of those gives you an amazing amount of power and leverage. And if you don't do it, some other Yahoo is going to do it, and they're going to make it so that you can't see children, you can't take X-rays, you can do drugs. They'll want that. And you can put needles in people, and all of that stuff, because they also have an agenda. They have an idea of what it should be. If you don't stand up and take the spot, they will. They will. So, I'm going to backtrack for just a minute. Talk about where I came from. I came off a plane in 1981. A suitcase, a couple $100 in my pocket, a letter from Life Chiropractic College saying that I was accepted for September quarter. I actually didn't understand that I had to reply to that letter to say that I was going to come. That's how, not together and not understanding of the system I was. I came off the plane at the Atlanta airport. It was brand new at the time, by the way, the concourses. It was beautiful. I'd never seen anything so modern, so efficient, so clean, so big. And I'd been traveling for over 24 hours, and I was really, really tired. And I saw a sign. I saw a sign and on the sign, there were 2 people laying down. And a little barrier between the people for privacy, which sounds like a really a good idea. And, you just want to rest. It was 2 in the morning when I got in, so, I didn't know anyone. I had a phone number for Life. That's all I had. I knew they weren't going to be there. I knew that much. And you know what that sign said? It was a perfect thing for what I needed. I needed to sleep. It said restrooms. Look at that, 2 people laying down. A perfect place to rest. I tell you what, if I can go from looking for a place to sleep here to running my state board and changing the world in my corner of the country, there's no one in this room who can't do it. Right? So let's see what it looks like. So a whole bunch of stuff here that I did, that you can do. I'm going to go over some of it. Move on. There we go. Who here likes to get paid? Who here likes to get paid well? You know what? The today's way of doing it, it's not the way it was when I started practice, but it's today's way, is through prepaid plans. You sell people care, you discount it makes it accessible to them, it makes it so that their family can do it, right? Is it legal in your quarter of the country? If it's not illegal, as the board ruled on it, because they will, and who's going to be on that board when they do? Well, since I was on the board, I decided, hey, what the heck, I'll write the policy guideline. So guess what happens in my quarter of the country? It works. And guess, and what, other states have copied it. How about this? Would you like your scope of practice to say this? Let's read it. Chiropractic analysis, which identifies the existence of chiropractic subluxation, may be the basis for chiropractic care, even in the absence of subjective complaint. Do you think that's pretty basic chiropractic understanding? Is it in your law? Can they come down, knock on your door? Do they have your balls in their hands and say, you know what, that patient has no symptoms. There's no justification for what you're doing. Unless you have something written in the law, it could happen any day. You know what? Unless you step up and go and write it, make it happen, you're just depending on someone to decide to squeeze. That's crazy. I couldn't stand that. So here we are. Hey, you know what? We talked about being a neuromuscular, I can't even say it, specialist, right? As opposed to whole health. Well, I decided that I didn't like that. So we revamped our scope, and we struck out, you see it's in yellow, neuromuscular and/or neuromuscular and/or musculoskeletal. So we just change it to everything. Illness, injuries, condition, or disorders, but not limited to vertebral subluxation complex. So we kept subluxation, we kept everything else. So now we're about health. How about that? And oh, by the way, did you see that little thing on the Chiropractic Council on Education? I added, or its equivalent, just in case. We did stuff about fraud, but we don't need to talk about it. So Larry Page says that we're 0.00001%. So that's one out of that basically says there's like 700 people in the world who can truly say, who believe that they're working at changing the world. And here I have a whole room of us. And do you think there's other chiropractors out there who truly believe that they are changing the world? Absolutely. We are rare, we're unique. And one of the things that makes us extraordinary is that we know we hold an idea that is so special, that is so powerful, that we are changing the world. And make no mistake about it. After 30 years of practice, after changing thousands and thousands of people's lives, I know I'm changing the world. My wife only sees babies. The miracles she sees every day are just mind-boggling. They're just completely off the chart. We are changing the world. I tell you what, when a baby is crying 24 hours a day or 23 and a half hours a day, and that baby stops crying after spending 5 minutes in my wife's hand, do you think that family is better off? That whole entire family's life got better, right? If that family's got better, do you think that that town, that neighborhood, that town got better? You know, we all have read BJ's That's Something, right? We've all read it. We're affecting the world one spot at a time. We need more of us. We need to do it. But with that, we have to do it, and we have some responsibility that comes with that. The 8 core proficiencies start with citizenship. Well, I have to tell you, we have responsibilities. We have to be successful in practice. I'm sorry, but you've got to do it. You got to make money. You got to make dough. You got to be rich. You got to be affluent. You know, it's not a theoretical thing. There's no reason why everyone in this room couldn't be millionaires. There's just no reason. We have the most special, the most important, the most vital, the best healthcare solution in the world. The world needs us. 47 trillion, we can't afford that. The whole planet doesn't make 47 trillion in gross GDP. It's impossible. Those math don't work. We have the solution in our hands. It's our responsibility to step up and have massively successful practices. We got to fill our schools. There's just not enough of us. Our schools need to, we're not thinking about, you know, twice as big, 10 times as big. We need to have like 100, 1,000 times more chiropractors coming in. This is what we got to do. You know what? If we're really going to be, if we really mean what we say, that we're changing the world, people in this room and chiropractors connected to us, we ain't doing it. It's not going to happen. I tell you what, I can't double my practice. I don't have enough room. I don't have enough hands. I don't have enough time. I don't have the energy to do it. We need 1,000 times more chiropractors around, at least. So we got to fill the schools. We got to do it. And then we got to play a role in our profession, right? So whether you're going to lead an association, whether you're going to play big in the alumni association, whether you're going to do like things like Sharon and Jay and Tom are doing, you know, getting on the board of a school, my thing that I think you have to consider is to get on the state board. You got to get on the state board. The state boards hold your destiny in their hands. If you don't do it, someone else will. And I have to tell you, all those things I told you you won't be able to do, which, by the way, will just completely erase that idea of changing the world. You won't be able to tell them. You won't be able to do them. It's just that simple. Either you do it, or someone else is going to make it so that you can't ever do it. So, you know what, guys? You can do it. If I can walk in the airport looking for a place to sleep in the restroom 30 years ago, you guys are way, way better equipped, way smarter than I'll ever be. You can do it. Thank you so much for giving me the time to listen to that.